So now I have to see if it works. Let me that. So I know I'm streaming to Twitch. Twitch is easy. I just have to click stream and it's streaming to Twitch. So Twitch is easy to stream to, but YouTube, I'm not sure yet. It says I don't know. But I want but I'm according to this it's streaming to YouTube. Is it working? Okay. Okay. It says waiting for Bible Nutter. But I expected this. I expected it to not work. I expected it to not go the way I planned. Well, the first thing I want to do is see if I'm streaming to Twitch. Okay, so yes, I am streaming to Twitch just fine. Very good. Next thing I need to do is make sure I'm streaming to YouTube. Twitch is fine. I just got to click start stream and stream it to Twitch. YouTube is more difficult. Says this is live.
YouTube is more
interesting. So it's working? Looks like it's working to me. I'm on Twitch and YouTube at the same time. Looks like it's working. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. And my frames are up nice and at 6,000 where they should be. Now, this is very odd. Why? Okay, so when I look at the stream on my phone on YouTube, it says it's upcoming, and then when I click it, it says waiting for Bible Nutter, but it's not doing anything. Wait. Okay, now I found it. Okay, so I found myself. Where? So... Wait a second. Interesting. So, I think what happened was I need to set up I don't know, how does that work? Because it looks like it's trying to do stream twice. I have one stream where it's streaming through Restream, where I click stream and Restream is streaming. And so it doesn't have my thumbnail. It shows a picture of me scratching my head. And not my beautiful thumbnail. So... Um... I don't know. Let's see here. So it doesn't look like... Oh my gosh. I don't know. The stream is working. I'll just have to work out the kinks later. But it is working. It's just that Restream is streaming my stream, but not the one I wanted. So I have a stream set up with my beautiful thumbnail, and that's not the one that's streaming. So it's like it's streaming what it wants to stream and not the thing I wanted to stream. Okay, well, how do I fix that? Do I don't know. I don't know. How would I fix that? So what I did was, I don't know. Do I open OBS Studio first and set up Restream that way? Or do I open YouTube up first and set up stream that way? Oh, I don't know. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Well, either way, it is streaming. Not the prettiest thumbnail in the world, but it is streaming. It's streaming to YouTube and to Twitch. So, we're going to get into it. Yeah. Okay. It is streaming to YouTube and to Twitch. It's just... it's not using my thumbnail. It's not using the stream I wanted it to. It's kind of using its own thing. Oh well. Well, my normal stream. Hello, my name is Brazell. I'm the Bible Nutter. What this is very simple. It's a Bible study. We're just going to read Mark chapter 5, and then we're going to talk about it. I'm going to read it, and I can show it on the screen. Should zoom it up for you. Alt X. And I have Mark 5 in the King James Version. I'm going to read a whole chapter, and then I'm going to reread it again, verse by verse, going through each verse, and we're just going to talk about it. And that's pretty much it. It's very simple, very casual. It's just a Bible study. Now, the other thing is... oops, wrong one. The other thing is like news. So I don't have any art. If my nieces or nephews make me some art, I'll show that off. But they didn't make me any, so I can't show that off. As far as news is concerned, I heard that Democrats are trying to give voting rights to illegal aliens. And they're also trying to get rid of voter ID. And they're trying to give voting rights to illegal aliens. I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube of Democrats who voted for Hillary in 2016 and voted for Biden in 2020 are voting for Trump in 2024. I've seen a lot of videos like that where lots of Democrats are switching who they're voting, who they are used to voting for. So that's kind of cool. But the Democrats are trying to replace American voters with illegal aliens. So, that's not good. But other than that, I don't really have any other news. The news is always bad, by the way. It's always doom and gloom. It's always bad. It's never good. That's why they're saying no news is good news, is they're saying. Other than that, what else is there? Oh, I'm streaming on Twitch now. I'm streaming on YouTube and Twitch, so that's really good news. I spent some time setting it up, so now I can do that. Oh, hey, Owned. Thank you for the follow, Silent Trio 69. So I have Restream set up. So I'm using OBS Studios to stream, and I'm not really sure how Restream works, but I'm streaming with OBS Studios, and it's going through Restream, and that's connecting to Twitch and YouTube. So Restream is like a middleman. Instead of streaming to 2 different platforms, I'm just streaming to Restream, and then it streams to the 2 platforms. That's cool. And if you upgrade, I'm not sponsored by the way, but if you upgrade Restream, you can stream to more channels at a time. I have the free version, so I can only stream 2 channels at a time. In the future, I'll probably upgrade it, but right now, I can't even get the freaking thing to work properly, so I'm working on it, but that's okay. So that's how it's working. And I'm looking at chat, so I have another monitor where I can see chat and I can see you guys talking to me. And when you guys post something, whether it's on YouTube or Twitch, it'll show me. And that's cool. So, is there anything else? I don't think there's anything else. If you are watching the stream and you like the stream, if you're on YouTube, hit like. If you're on Twitch, please give me a follow. And what else? There was something else I forget. If you like the stream, then type in the comments that you like or something. I don't know. I'm looking at chat, and so if you guys like it, that would help me out if you like it. And also, if you have any questions, put a question in chat and I'll look at it. Oh, and finally, after the stream, I'm going to be on Discord. You can join me on Discord. I put a link in the chat so that you can talk to me directly. That way you don't have to type stuff. So that's the deal. If no one joins Discord, it'll just be over for the stream. But if people join Discord, then we can chat for a little bit. And that would be cool. Okay, so without further ado, we're in Mark chapter 5 in the King James Version. Always King James. Here we go. And they came over unto the other side of the sea into the country of Gadarenes. And when he was come out of the ship, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit, who had his dwelling among the tombs, and no man could bind him, no, not with chains, because that he had been often bound with fetters and chains, and the chains had been plucked asunder by him, and the fetters broken in pieces, neither could any man tame him. And always, night and day, he was in the mountains and in the tombs, crying and cutting himself with stones. But when he saw Jesus afar off, he ran and worshipped him, and cried with a loud voice, and said, What have I to do with thee, Jesus, thou Son of the Most High God? I adjure thee by God, that thou torment me not. For he said unto him, Come out of the man, thou unclean spirit. And he asked him, What is thy name? And he answered, saying, My name is Legion, for we are many. And he besought him much that he would not send them away out of the country. Now there was nigh unto the mountains a great herd of swine feeding. And all the devils besought him, saying, Send us into the swine, that we may enter into them. And forthwith Jesus gave them leave. And the unclean spirits went out and entered into the swine. And the herd ran violently down a steep place into the sea. They were about 2,000, and were choked in the sea. And they that fed the swine fled, and told it in the city and in the country. And they went out to see what it was that was done. And they came to Jesus, and see him that was possessed with the devil, and had the legion sitting and clothed and in his right mind, and they were afraid. And they that saw it told them how it befell to him that was possessed with the devil, and also concerning the swine. And they began to pray him to depart out of their coasts. And when he was come into the ship, he that had been possessed with the devil prayed him that he might be with him. Howbeit Jesus suffered him not, but saith unto him, Go home to thy friends, and tell them how great things the Lord hath done for thee, and hath had compassion on thee. And he departed and began to publish in Decapolis how great things Jesus had done for him, and all men did marvel. And when Jesus was passed over again by the ship unto the other side, much people gathered together unto him, and he was nigh unto the sea. And behold, there cometh one of the rulers of the synagogue, Jairus by name, and when he saw him, he fell at his feet, and besought him greatly, saying, My little daughter lieth at the point of death. I pray thee, come and lay thy hands on her, that she may be healed, and she shall live. And Jesus went with him, and much people followed him, and thronged him. And a certain woman which had an issue of blood 12 years, and had suffered many things of many physicians, and had spent all that she had, and was nothing bettered, but rather grew worse, when she had heard of Jesus, came in the press behind, and touched his garment. For she said, If I may but touch his clothes, I shall be whole. And straightway the fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of that plague. And Jesus immediately, knowing in himself that virtue had gone out of him, turned him about in the press, and said, Who touched my clothes? And his disciples said unto him, Thou seest the multitude thronging thee, and sayest thou, Who touched me? And he looked round about to see her that had done this thing. But the woman, fearing and trembling, knowing what was done in her, came and fell down before him, and told him all the truth. And he said unto her, Daughter, thy faith hath made thee whole. Go in peace, and be whole of thy plague. While he yet spake, there came from the ruler of the synagogue's house certain which said, Thy daughter is dead. Why troublest thou the master any further? As soon as Jesus heard the word that was spoken, he saith unto the ruler of the synagogue, Be not afraid, only believe. And he suffered no man to follow him, save Peter and James and John, the brother of James. And he cometh to the house of the ruler of the synagogue, and seeth the tumult, and them that wept and wailed greatly. And when he was come in, he saith unto them, Why make ye this ado, and weep? The damsel is not dead, but sleepeth. And they laughed him to scorn. But when he had put them all out, he taketh the father and the mother of the damsel, and them that were with him, and entereth in where the damsel was lying. And he took the damsel by the hand, and said unto her, Talitha cumi, which is, being interpreted, Damsel, I say unto thee, arise. And straightway the damsel arose and walked, for she was of the age of 12 years, and they were astonished with a great astonishment. And he charged them straitly that no man should know it, and commanded that something should be given her to eat. Okay, that is Mark chapter 5, in the King James Version. Hey, if anyone likes to stream, be sure to post something in chat so that I know that you exist. That would be great. Wait a second. So, who is this person? Does this person follow me, or does this person follow someone else? Ah, I mean, I click that. Hold on a second. What? Good job. There we go. Okay. So that's Mark chapter 5. And so now I'm going to be glancing at chat every now and then to see if you guys say anything. And we're going to go through it verse by verse. Some of this, if it's just self-explanatory, I just won't cover it. Okay, so they came over to the other side of the sea into the country of Gardanes. Okay, so there's this man in the tombs. A crazy man. And this is, what's the word? Touched by the Holy Spirit when reading this just now. I thought it was very interesting. Get off. So, there's this man, this crazy man, living in the tombs, and apparently they bound him with chains, and the man broke the chains. So this man has like superhuman strength, and he's a crazy man. He's living in these tombs. I'm going to highlight this, make it blue. Nice and blue. There we go. I should do ASMR. And so there's this crazy man, but when he saw Jesus, this man was possessed with many devils. And the name of the devil was Legion, and he says, "For we are many." On a side note, some people have made a connection to this Legion, saying, right here. Some people have made a connection, probably, I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but some people have wondered about the whole transgender thing, how people are identifying as they, them. And Jesus asked this devil, what is his name? And he answered saying, "My name is Legion, for we are many." You know, these transgender, some of them are identifying as we. Some of them are identifying as them. Some people, and I've just seen people talk about that in like YouTube shorts and stuff, so it's like, I just wonder about it. It's interesting that these people who were possessed with devils identified as them, and some of these transgender people are identifying as they, them. So I wonder if they're possessed with devils. Interesting stuff. And so this crazy man is living in the tombs, and he's cutting himself and hurting himself, and he can break chains, so he's got like superhuman strength. And when he saw Jesus, it says he ran and worshipped him. Now, worshipped can either mean worship as in a godly worship, like you bow down and pray worship, or it could just mean a salutation. In this case, I think it was a salutation. I don't think the demon actually worshipped Jesus, because if he did, then why would he be, a demon? And so, but he sees Jesus, he runs and worships Jesus, he salutes Jesus and cries and says, "What have I to do with thee, Jesus? Torment me not." And Jesus rebuked the unclean spirit. Unclean spirits are demons or devils. Evil spirits, that's all the same thing. And then he cast the demon into a herd of swine. And then it says the swine ran down a steep place into the sea and were choked in the sea. So they drowned in the sea. Now the other gospels, they word this a little differently. Some say they fall off a cliff and die, and some say in this case, they drowned in the sea. So I guess they fell off the cliff, and some died, and some drowned in the sea. I don't think it's a contradiction. Okay. I kind of want to highlight all of this What have I to do with thee, Jesus? It would be better if I did this on my own time and not while I was streaming, unless, I don't know. Unless you guys want me to see it. We got the crazy man. What have I to do with thee, Jesus? What is thy name? He sent him into the swine. Okay, so this is very interesting to me. I'm gonna make it yellow. Wait, is yellow nice? Can you guys see yellow? Well, I hope you guys can see that well. Yellow. Okay, so the man who was possessed with the devils, who was a crazy person, who was hurting himself and cutting himself and could break chains with his hands, he was in, once the devil had been cast out of him, he was in his right mind. He was clothed and sitting and in his right mind. And they marveled at it. And when they saw it, they told, they saw it, and they that saw it told them how it befell to him that was possessed with the devil, and also concerning the swine, and they began to pray him to depart out of the coast. So once Jesus had healed this man, they told Jesus to leave. I really don't know why, other than maybe they're just wicked people. Jesus had just helped this person, and they're asking him to leave. You need to leave. And when he was coming to the ship, he that had been possessed with the devil prayed him that he might be with him. This is fascinating. While I was reading this just now, this stood out to me. I was utterly fascinated. I loved it. All this stuff. I want to highlight it. Because it's very interesting. So, the guy that was possessed with the devils, once Jesus healed him, the guy wanted to follow Jesus. He wanted to follow Jesus, and Jesus told him no. This is, I mean, at first glance, it's like, what? Jesus doesn't want him to follow him? That's crazy. We Christians, we tell everyone to follow Jesus. And Jesus is telling this guy, don't follow me. What the heck? Jesus, so it's suffered is an old English word. It just means he didn't let him. Also, another thing, the word let in the King James Bible means to hinder something. So let means to hinder, and suffered means to let something. Like suffered means to let it happen. I think I just confused someone. You can tell by the context what it means. Howbeit Jesus suffered him not, but saith unto him, Go home to thy friends, and tell them how great things the Lord hath done for thee, and hath had compassion on thee. And he departed and began to publish in Decapolis how great things Jesus had done for him, and all men did marvel. This is very interesting, because there's other places in the Gospels where Jesus healed people, and then Jesus told them not to publish it. But just, go your way, offer your offering to the priest. And Jesus told him not to publish it. But this man, Jesus told him to publish the matter. Why? The only thing I can think of is, I don't know. But Jesus said, Go home to thy friends. Apparently this man had friends. And tell them how great things the Lord hath done for thee, and hath had compassion on thee. This is really marvelous. This man had friends. I suppose his friends even perhaps tried to come help him while he was all crazy, being possessed with the devil and cutting himself. But he cast off his friends. Right? This man was crazy. He was insane. He wasn't in his right mind. So when his friends come to save him, to help him, he probably would have attacked them. Because the guy was crazy. He was a crazy man. He was a crazy man. I want to check something real fast. No. No. Yeah, okay. So, I don't know. My thinking, that the thoughts that are occurring to me right now, I'm thinking about like how a lot of these transgender people, they're like completely mental. Uh, I don't know. I don't know a nice way to say this, but some of these liberals, these leftists, they seem completely evil. They seem completely evil. Like, uh, man, there are things I can't say without getting banned. Mm. The word for when a woman terminates her pregnancy before its full term. I don't want to use that. I don't want to say the word because I'm afraid Twitch or YouTube might ban me for it. I'm afraid. But when they do that, most, I still believe that most people or most women who support terminating the baby uh, don't actually know that's what's happening. Most of them don't know that's what happens. They just think that it's a clump of cells that's not alive, it's not human, and then they're just, stopping a germinating process. And they don't actually know the horrors of an actual full scale, the word for terminating a baby. And they don't actually know, but some of them do. Some women actually do know that, yes, I'm killing a baby. Yes, it's a baby. Yes, it's a human. Yes, it's a life. I'm going to kill it anyway. And some of them are like that. And these people they just seem pure evil. To me, they seem completely evil. But even supposing I think that, Jesus said to this person, Jesus healed this person who was a lunatic, crazy, possessed with devils. And Jesus told him to go tell your friend, or go tell them how great things the Lord hath done for thee, and hath had compassion on thee. I have a lot less compassion for raging liberal lunatics, and that's why this is standing out to me, because I just think they're crazy. This man was completely crazy, and yet God had compassion on him and healed him and helped him. And the whole reason I think Jesus wants him to go tell his friends this is because his friends may have given up on him. And so this is a testimony, again, that you may have given up on me, but God has not given up on me. And that God has helped me. And that seems really cool to me. So that's what occurs to me. Can I say the word abortion, or is that, will Twitch ban me and YouTube ban me? I know I've said it on YouTube before, but I'm not sure. Because you can get banned. You don't really have freedom of speech on these platforms. You just kind of have to toe the line. But unfortunately, the Bible talks very much to this present generation, to this present day. It speaks to things that are relevant right here, right now. And so, some of the stuff in the Bible is sensitive, just like some of the stuff today is sensitive. Well, actually, the Bible isn't sensitive about it, but our generation is. The Bible just talks about it. Also, if you do join, be sure to like and leave a comment, please, so I can know that you're here in the chat. So I think Jesus told him to go tell his friends, to let his friends know that, hey, God had not given up on him. You may have given up on me, but God did not. And that's pretty much it. I do think of those people who are just evil, because this man was crazy evil, possessed with many devils, and God had compassion on him. as for me personally, I think I should have more compassion on people who are nuts. Okay, so Jesus passed over again to when Jesus was passed over again by ship unto the other side, much people were gathered unto him, and he was nigh unto the sea. One of the rulers of the synagogue. So this guy's a ruler of the synagogue has got to be a Jew or a Pharisee or both. He's probably a Pharisee. So basically a Pharisee, Jairus, or Jairus, by name. When he saw him, he fell at his feet and besought him, my daughter is about to die. Come heal her. And Jesus went, and much people thronged him. So Jesus is surrounded by a whole bunch of people. This guy, Jairus, asked Jesus to come heal his daughter. And Jesus did, and a whole bunch of people are surrounding Jesus. They're like pushing and shoving on him. And that's why when this woman dying, I got hit in the throat with a box at work. It's not dying. And Jesus is being thronged by a whole bunch of different people. And so that's why when this woman touches Jesus, and Jesus says, who touched me? And then the disciples are like, why would you even ask such a stupid question? There's like a whole bunch of people touching you, and you ask who touched me. So that's why the disciples said that. A woman who had an issue of blood, 12 years. I don't know what that means. Apparently it's some sort of disease. And she spent all her money on doctors and physicians to help her with it, and none of them helped her. And she was not fixed any. She was not better, but she was worse. That sucks. But, you know, typical. Doctors didn't help you back then. They don't help us today. Or spend all your money and they don't even fix the right problem. Cost like $500 just to walk in. And it's different. Okay, so... And so when she heard of Jesus, she came up to Jesus and touched him, because she said within herself, if I just touch his clothes, I'll be whole. And then it says the fountain of blood, the fountain of her blood was dried up. I don't know what that means. I don't know what an issue of blood is with a woman. I don't know what that means, but it says it was dried up, and she was made whole as soon as she touched Jesus. And she felt in her body that she was healed of that plague. And Jesus knew that that virtue had gone out of him. I don't know what that means either. Apparently Jesus knew that he had healed someone. So that's cool. And he's like, who touched my clothes? And they were like, why you ask who touched your clothes? There's a whole bunch of people touching your clothes. Why you ask that? Isn't that funny how God can, or Jesus can say something and we don't know what it means. So we just like laugh or something, even though what Jesus is saying is all good and true. Context. Jesus is good and cool. His disciples said unto him, how you say, who touched me? And he looked around to see her that had done this thing. But the woman, fearing and trembling, knowing what was done in her, came and fell down before him and told him all the truth. She was afraid. I'm not sure why. I don't know. Maybe Jesus is scary or something. I don't know. He's God. I don't know. And so, but Jesus said unto her, daughter, thy faith hath made thee whole. Go in peace, and be whole of thy plague. While he yet spake, he came to the ruler of the synagogue's house. So this is Darius again. Or what is it? No, Jairus. Jairus said, come heal my daughter. And then, while he yet spake, there came forth the ruler of the synagogue's house. This is Jairus, saying that thy daughter is dead. Okay, so the daughter had died. She was going to die, and then Jesus came. As Jesus was coming to her, the daughter died. I suppose. And so they're like, your daughter is dead. Why would you trouble the master any further? The master being Jesus. And as soon as Jesus heard that, he said, be not afraid, only believe. She's not dead, but sleepeth. And when he said that, they laughed at him. They laughed at him. They laughed him to scorn. It's very fascinating to be laughed at. Have people laugh at you. It's very fascinating. It does not feel good to get laughed at. But Jesus, when he had put them all out, it's very interesting. He put them out. Wouldn't it have been a good idea, because they're laughing and scoffing and not believing, for Jesus to heal the girl with them present so they could see and believe? But I suppose that's not how it works. You see, if Jesus had healed many people before, I mean, he literally just healed the girl who touched his clothes. She had an issue of blood 12 years, like a blood disease or something for 12 years. She touched his clothes and was healed immediately. So these people who laughed at Jesus, they had a miracle. They did bear witness to one. So it's not like they have nothing to go on, no faith to go on, or no miracles to believe in, like they already had seen one. Well, that, and God knows their hearts. God knows their hearts. And if you're laughing at Jesus, you're a fool. But when he had put them out, he taketh the father and the mother of the damsel, and where the damsel was lying, he said, arise. And she did. So Jesus brought her back to life. And they all were like, what the heck? The Lord is God. Okay, that's pretty much it. Wait, is there... I feel like I should say one more thing. If you believe the Bible, if you actually believe, if you really honestly, because someone who's not a believer of the Bible and Christianity and Jesus and the Scriptures, they might think this is a bizarre thing that we believe. I believe absolutely that this happened. I believe 100% that this woman, this little girl, was dead, and that Jesus had brought her back to life just by simply saying, arise. I 100% believe this. I believe this happened, that there's this man named Jesus Christ who lived 2,000 years ago, who was not just a man, but also God, and he could do such things, and does such things, and will do such things. And is going to do such things. And I believe that. And the scoffers are like, well, how can you believe this? That's crazy. Well, how I believe it is, the saying is, if you can believe Genesis 1:1, you can believe all the rest. Genesis 1:1 says, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. If you can believe that, you can believe the whole rest of the Bible. If you can believe God created time, it says God, in the beginning, God. So before the beginning, God. God was the beginning. He created the beginning. He created time itself. In the beginning, God. So he created time. God created the heaven, that's space, and the earth, that's matter. God created all of time and space and matter in one verse, in one instance, just by speaking it to existence. If God can speak everything into existence just by saying a word, then why can't he do this? Why can't he put a soul, why can't he put a soul back into a body? The Bible says when God made man originally, he took dust and formed man of the dust of the ground, and then God breathed into man's nostrils the breath of life, and then man became a living soul. Why couldn't he do that again with this damsel? Why couldn't Jesus breathe on her and bring her back to life? Well, he did. It doesn't say he breathed on her. It says he just said arise. But the point still remains. God created life, and he is life. So why couldn't he bring someone back to life? Well, he should completely be able to bring someone back to life. He's God. Like, how is this difficult for him? He created everything in 6 days. He created the entire universe in 6 days. Is putting a soul back into a body so difficult for him? Is anything difficult for him? Is anything too much for him? So if you can believe Genesis 1:1, then you can believe all of this. If you can believe in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth, then you can believe all of this. So yes, it doesn't really matter what the Bible says. If God says it happened, I believe it. And I have faith that it happened because I believe by faith that in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. If God made everything just by speaking to existence, surely he can do this stuff. So that's my take on that. Okay. We can keep going. There we go. Should we keep going? It's 7:46. I think I'll keep going. Now, according to the thing, it says that I have 3 viewers on YouTube. If that is true, can one of you post a comment in the chat so that I can see that you're actually there? It says I have 1 on Twitch and 3 on YouTube. Now, I am actually watching my YouTube on my phone, so it might just be 2 on YouTube. It says I have top messages. Where is the messages? Where is it? I don't know. Because I'm wondering that if you post something in the chat, will it pop up on my restream? It's supposed to, but I don't see anything, so I wonder. Well, I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so we're going to do Mark chapter 6. Here we go. And afterwards, we'll be on Discord. Mark chapter 6, King James Version. Here we go. And he went out from thence and came into his own country, and his disciples followed him. Follow him. And his disciples follow him. And when the Sabbath day was come, he began to teach in the synagogue, and many hearing him were astonished, saying, From whence hath this man these things? And what wisdom is this which is given unto him, that even such mighty works are wrought by his hands? Is not this the carpenter, the son of Mary, the brother of James and Joseph and Judah and Simon? And are not his sisters here with us? And they were offended at him. But Jesus said unto them, A prophet is not without honor, but in his own country, and among his own kin, and in his own house. And he could there do no mighty work, save he that he... And he could there do no mighty work, save that he laid his hands upon a few sick folk, and healed them. And he marveled because of their unbelief. And he went round about the villages teaching. And he called unto him the 12, and began to send them forth by 2 and 2, and gave them power over unclean spirits, and commanded them that they should take nothing for their journey, save a staff only, no scrip, no bread, no money in their purse, but be shod with sandals, and not put on 2 coats. And he said unto them, In what place soever ye enter into an house, there abide till ye depart from that place. And whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear you, when ye depart thence, shake off the dust under your feet, for a testimony against them. Verily I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city. And when they went out and preached that men should repent, and they cast out many devils, and anointed with oil many that were sick, and healed them. And King Herod heard of him, for his name was spread abroad, and he said, That John the Baptist was was risen from the dead, and therefore mighty works do show forth themselves in him. Others said, That is Elias. And others said, That is a prophet, or as one of the prophets. But when Herod heard thereof, he said, It is John, whom I have beheaded. He is risen from the dead. For Herod himself had sent forth and laid hold upon John, and bound him in prison for Herodias' sake, his brother Philip's wife, for he had married her. For John had said unto Herod, It is not lawful for thee to have thy brother's wife. Therefore Herodias had a quarrel against him, and would have killed him, but she could not. For Herod feared John, knowing that he was a just man and holy, and observed him. And when he heard him, he did many things, and heard him gladly. And when a convenient day was come, that Herod on his birthday made a supper to his lords, high captains and chief estates of Galilee. And when the daughter of the said Herodias came in, and danced, and pleased Herod, and them that sat with him, the king said unto the damsel, Ask of me whatsoever thou wilt, and I will give it thee. And he sware unto her, Whatsoever thou shalt ask of me, I will give it thee unto the half of my kingdom. And she went forth and said unto her mother, What shall I ask? And she said, The head of John the Baptist. And she came in straightway with haste unto the king, and asked, saying, I will that thou give me by and by in a charger the head of John the Baptist. And the king was exceeding sorry, yet for his oath's sake, and for their sakes which sat with him, he would not reject her. And immediately the king sent an executioner, and commanded his head be brought, and he went and beheaded him in the prison. And he brought his head in a charger, and gave it to the damsel, and the damsel gave it to her mother. And when his disciples heard of it, they came and took up his corpse, and laid it in a tomb. This is John the Baptist they're talking about. And the apostles gathered themselves together unto Jesus, and told him all things, both what they had done, and what they had taught. And he said unto them, Come ye yourselves apart into a desert place, and rest a while. For there were many coming and going, and they had no leisure so much as to eat. And they departed into a desert place by ship privately. And the people saw them departing, and many knew him, and ran afoot thither out of all cities, and outwent them, and came together unto him. And Jesus, when he came out, saw much people, and was moved with compassion toward them, because they were as sheep not having a shepherd. And he began to teach them many things. And when the day was now far spent, his disciples came unto him and said, This is a desert place, and now the time is far past. Send them away, that they may go into the country round about, and into the villages, and buy themselves bread, for they have nothing to eat. And he answered and said unto them, Give ye them to eat. And they say unto him, Shall we go and buy 200 pennies worth of bread, and give them to eat? And he saith unto them, How many loaves have ye? Go and see. And when they knew, they say, 5, and 2 fishes. And he commanded them to make all sit down by companies upon the green grass. And they sat down in ranks, by hundreds and by 50s, and when he had taken the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes, he looked up to heaven, and blessed, and brake the loaves, and gave them to his disciples to set before them. And the 2 fishes divided he among them all. And they did all eat, and were filled. And they took up 12 baskets full of the fragments and of the fishes. And they that did eat of the loaves were about 5,000 men. And straightway he constrained his disciples to get into the ship and to go to the other side before unto Bethsaida, while he sent away the people. And when he had sent them away, he departed into a mountain to pray. And when the even was come, the ship was in the midst of the sea, and he alone on the land. And he saw them toiling in rowing, for the wind was contrary unto them. And about the 4th watch of the night, he cometh unto them, walking upon the sea, and would have passed by them. And when they saw him walking upon the sea, they supposed it had been a spirit, and cried out. For they all saw him, and were troubled. And immediately he talked with them, and saith unto them, Be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid. And he went up unto them into the ship, and the wind ceased. And they were sore amazed in themselves beyond measure, and wondered. For they considered not the miracle of the loaves, for their heart was hardened. And when they had passed over, they came into the land of Gennesaret, and drew to the shore. And when they were come out of the ship, straightway they knew him, and ran through the whole region round about, and began to carry about in beds those that were sick, where they heard he was. And whithersoever he entered, into villages or cities or country, they laid the sick in the streets, and besought him that they might touch. They laid the sick in the streets, and besought him that they might touch, if it were but the border of his garment. And as many as touched him were made whole. Okay, and that is Mark chapter 6. I know something that will help me get through all this. Ah. What the heck? Wait a second, this is a document. Okay, so I can't do nothing about it. Is it possible for me to change the background of the document? Because staring at the white, all this whiteness, don't like it. It's so white. I'm more of a black person, or a gray person, just not a white person. It's so white. Ah, hurts my eyes, staring at whiteness all day. Ugh. You ever get that feeling? Too much white. So much white. What if I turn this off? Does that make it better? Can you still see me? Yeah, you can still see me. I'll just keep it like that. Maybe that'll help me. There's so much whiteness. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, here we go. Verse by verse. And he went out from thence and came to his own country, and his disciples followed him. So when Jesus went to his own country, they didn't believe Jesus. They were like, who is this? This is Jesus. Why is Jesus? How does Jesus know all this stuff? How is he doing miracles and stuff? We know Jesus. Jesus can't do this. And they were offended at him. They were offended. They're like, what? Who is this? This would be like if I, Adam Brazell, was to go and teach amazing things to my family. They wouldn't believe. They'd be like, Adam, we know you. You're full of crap. And so they wouldn't believe me, even if I was telling them the hardcore truth. They wouldn't believe. And that's the same thing with these people. Now it says, Jesus says a prophet is not without honor except in his own country. This means in his own country, they don't honor the prophet, but out of the country, everyone honors the prophet. Now it says he could there do no mighty work. He did heal a few people. But do no mighty work. What it means is, so my interpretation of this is, the whole reason he didn't do a whole lot of works in this country is not because he couldn't, but because they did not believe, they weren't bringing all the sick to him. Like when Jesus went to another country and they believed Jesus could heal the sick, everyone was bringing all the sick people to Jesus for Jesus to heal them. Whereas this being in his own country, they didn't believe Jesus, and so they wouldn't bring the sick people to him to heal them. And then because, like, they didn't believe Jesus could do the miracles and stuff, so people weren't gathered together to come see him do them. That's why he didn't do mighty works here in his own country. And it says he marveled because of their unbelief, and he went around about the villages teaching. Yeah. I mean, can you, I don't know, imagine someone preaching the truth, and also imagine someone who can do miracles and heal the sick has come to your doorstep and you're not interested. Very interesting. It is a marvel. Okay, and then he called his 12 disciples and sent them 2 by 2, or 2 and 2. I guess it's 2 and 2 and 2 by 2, the same thing. And he sent them and gave them powers so they could heal people and do miracles and to cast out devils, and told them go preach the gospel. And Jesus said, don't worry, bring a stick with you, but you don't need to have 2 pairs of shoes. You don't need to have scrip. I believe scrip is money. Nope. Or it says no scrip or no money. So maybe scrip is something else. Is scrip paper? You don't need paper? Maybe that's what it's saying. You don't need... What is scrip? You don't need scrip. You don't need bread. You don't need a food. You got no money. You don't need no money in their purse. But be shod with sandals. I guess be shod means wear. They wore some sandals. And don't even put on 2 coats. Yeah, bare minimum stuff. Just go out, do the work, and God will do the work. You know, this is very interesting now that I say that out loud. I want to have all my YouTube videos and stuff edit nice and neat and perfect and primed before I actually do something with it. And then, you know, if it actually does prevail, I'll think that because I put so much time and effort and energy into it, that it will succeed. But according to this, it will succeed because God has his hand over it. You can put a whole bunch of time and effort and energy into doing this stuff, but if God does not want to prosper it, it does not prosper. But even with bare minimum stuff, you can prosper if God wants it to prosper. Very cool. And he said unto them, go into places, tell them the gospel. If they won't hear you or receive you, shake off the dust of your feet against them. Now, whether you literally have to do this or not, I don't think you literally have to do it. It's just a testimony against them. And Jesus says something that's kind of interesting. He says, verily I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city. This is very interesting because Sodom and Gomorrah was utterly destroyed with an overthrow. God utterly destroyed those cities. So when God says that it would be better to dwell in the city that's about to be utterly destroyed, Sodom and Gomorrah, it'd be better to dwell there than to dwell in that city which would not receive you. I don't think it's a literal statement. I think it's hyperbole. I think Jesus is just exaggerating because well, that's what I think. How could it honestly be better to be in Sodom and Gomorrah, which was utterly destroyed, I don't see how that's literally possible. I think it's hyperbole just to say that these people who will not receive you and they will not listen and they will not receive the gospel or hear it or listen to it, they just scoff at it and laugh at it. They and that city are going to be overthrown. God is going to overthrow them. They're going to be destroyed. Now, if they repent, then they won't. But if not, then they will be destroyed. And they went out and preached that men should repent. So, also, side note, some Christians teach that you don't need to repent. Well, that's not true. You need to repent. And they cast out many devils and anointed with oil many that were sick and healed them. I've never anointed anyone with oil before. Do we do that? Are we supposed to do that? I don't know what it means to anoint someone with oil, though. You mean you like dump some oil on their head? I don't know what it means. And King Herod heard of Jesus, because Jesus is famous, and King Herod thought that Jesus was John the Baptist, risen from the dead. It's very interesting that he thought that. Why did he just casually think that John the Baptist had been risen from the dead? Why did he just casually think that? I don't know. But I get from these verses... Let's make this blue. I get from these verses that King Herod wasn't even all that bad. But he thought John the Baptist was kind of cool. But I don't know exactly how this works, but apparently King Herod was married to his brother's wife. So there was two men married to one woman. Is that what happened here? Herod was married to Philip's wife, and Philip is his brother. So Herod and Philip are married to her. And John the Baptist said, "It is not lawful for thee to have thy brother's wife." John the Baptist said that was wrong. And Herodias, the wife, she was so mad that John the Baptist had said this that she wanted to kill him. And she did. And then Herodias' daughter danced before King Herod and made him happy. And then he, being a drunk idiot, said, "Hey, I'll give you whatever you want, pretty lady." And then he asked for John the Baptist's head. And he didn't want to do that. So I guess he wasn't all bad, but he did do it because he made an oath to do so. He promised he would give her whatever she asked for, and that's what she asked for. So don't get drunk and then make a covenant with a woman saying, "Hey, I'll give you whatever you ask for," because then they'll ask you for something you don't want to give them. Amazing. So don't do that. The king was sorry that this was the case, but he did do it. The disciples came and took John's body. Okay. And he said unto them, "Come ye yourselves apart into a desert place and rest a while. For there were many coming and going, and they had no leisure so much as to eat." Who is he talking about? I'm not sure. And they departed into a desert place by ship privately. And when they saw Jesus, they all came and ran at him. And when he came out, he saw much people and he had compassion on them, because they were as sheep not having a shepherd, and began to teach them many things. So I wonder what this means exactly. Jesus had compassion on them because they were as sheep not having a shepherd, and he began to teach them many things. Literally speaking, a sheep without a shepherd are just completely lost. They have no direction in life. And so Jesus had compassion on them and began to teach them things so they could have a direction. And that's cool. I should do that. I know stuff. I could tell people who don't know anything. Amazing. And when the day was now far spent, the disciples said, send the people away, because, daytime is over, and we don't have any food for them. And Jesus answered them, give ye them to eat. I wonder about this. For the story's sake, it just says just what it means, but I wonder outside of the story, is there any extra message or context that this has? I'm sure it does. Jesus says to his disciples, give ye them to eat. I'm not sure. I just know that Jesus said this, go feed my sheep. And the disciples were like, how? We don't have enough money to feed everyone. And Jesus said unto them, how many loaves have you got? And they said, we got 5 and 2 fishes. And they commanded everyone to sit down. And then Jesus, okay, this is interesting. They had 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes, and they had fed 5,000 people, and they were filled with the 5 loaves and 2 fishes. And when they was all over, he had more left over than what he originally started with. He had 5 loaves of bread, he fed 5,000 people, and then he had 12 baskets full left over. Like he had more than what he started with when he first started. This is impossible, but Jesus did it. Because Jesus can do the impossible. Okay? So Jesus told his disciples to get into the ship, without him, and to go. And then Jesus sent everyone else away. That's something else I kind of wondered about. Why does Jesus send people away? Because we're supposed to follow Jesus. We're supposed to bring people to Jesus and preach Jesus. And yet Jesus is sending people away. Why does he do that? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm thinking it's because Jesus wanted to be alone. I'm not sure exactly. Or it doesn't really say how he sent them away. That would kind of matter. He doesn't say how he sent them away. And he departed into a mountain to pray. So Jesus by himself went to pray. And when evening was come, the ship was in the middle of the sea, being tossed with the waves and the wind. And Jesus walked on the water to them. And they saw it, and they were freaking out and crying. They're like, what the heck is this? And Jesus said, hey, it's me. And then Jesus immediately stopped the wind, and it was amazing. And the Bible says, for they considered not the miracle of the loaves, for their heart was hardened. Yeah, after all the miracles Jesus had done thus far to these people, yet they still didn't truly believe in him. None of the disciples actually truly believed in Jesus until after the resurrection. I think until the book of Acts is when they actually started to legitimately believe in Jesus. That's just the way it was. And when they had passed over, they came to the land of Gennesaret and drew to the shore. And when they were come out of the ship, they straightway knew him. So as soon as Jesus lands, everyone around him is coming to Jesus. They're bringing all the sick they can. That's why in his home country he couldn't do much miracles, because people didn't believe he could heal the sick. They just didn't believe it. Whereas this, as soon as Jesus landed, the whole region came to meet him. The whole region came to Jesus bringing the sick. And wherever they heard Jesus was, that's where they went. Amazing. And whithersoever he entered into villages or cities or country, they laid the sick in the streets and besought him that they might touch if it were but the border of his garment. And as many as touched him were made whole. And I suppose if they weren't made whole, they should ask Jesus to heal them specifically. That's what the woman did. That's totally what he should do. Okay, and that is Mark chapter 6. So we did good. We got through Mark chapter 5 and chapter 6. So that is going to be all for today. That's going to be officially the end of the Bible study. Now, if anyone wants to join me on Discord, let me know. I'll send you another link invite, and then we can chat on Discord. If you've got any comments or questions over the stream, or our last stream, or just whatever, the Bible in general, you can come on Discord and ask me and talk to me about it. If not, then that will be the end of the stream. I will give it a moment to see if anyone wants to join on Discord. I don't think anyone was going to join on Discord, so I was going to end the stream. Now, the other thing is, let's see, Alt-C. If I had some viewers, then what is this? Let me see here. Oh wait, so YouTube, oh, is it not live no more? What's that? So as far as YouTube is concerned, there's no rating. I can't rate another YouTuber, but on Twitch you can do that. So I'm gonna go on Twitch and see if I have people watching the stream. If I don't, oops, wrong one. Where is it? Video producer? Yeah, video producer. Stream, here we go. I don't think anyone is watching at the moment, so I don't need to raid somebody. On Twitch you can raid people, but no one's watching at the moment. So what I'm gonna do is end the stream. Yeah. Okay. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm the Bible Nutter. I'm Adam Brazell. Leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. If you enjoyed the stream, let me know. If you didn't, let me know. If I offended you, let me know. Okay, and that'll be it. Thank you guys, and have a wonderful